Srimad Bhagavatam 5:10-13. Unmattamatta jadavatsva samstham gatasya me vira chikitsitena artha kiyan bhavata shikshitena stabdha pramattasya cha peshta pesha. Unmatta, madness. Matta, a drunkard. Jadavat, like a dunce. What is dunce? Can you see the meaning? Swasamstham. I think dunce means, I don't know. Situation in my original constitutional position. Situation in my original constitutional position. Thank you. Gatasya, of one who has obtained. Me, of me. Veera, O king. Chikitsitena, by your chastisement. Artha, the meaning or purpose. Kiyan, what? Bhavata, by you. Sikshitena, by being instructed. Stabdha, dull. Pramattasya, of a crazy man. Cha, also. Pishtapesha, like grinding flour. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. My dear king, you have said, you rascal, you dull, crazy fellow, I am going to chastise you and then you will come to your senses. In this regard, let me say that although I live like a dull, deaf and dumb man, I am actually a self-realized person. What will you gain by punishing me? If your calculation is true and I am a madman, then your punishment will be like beating a dead horse. Can you hear the phone? It will stop. Just see the history and then call the person last. If I am a madman, then your punishment will be like beating a dead horse. There will be no effect. When a madman is punished, he is not cured of his madness. So, please repeat, my dear king, you have said, quote, you rascal, you dull, crazy fellow, I am going to chastise you, and then you will come to your senses. Unquote. In this regard, let me say that although I live like a dull, deaf and dumb man, I am actually a self-realized person. What will you gain by punishing me? If your calculation is true, and I am a madman, then your punishment will be like beating a dead horse. There will be no effect. When a madman is punished, he is not cured of his madness. Purport. Everyone in this material world is working like a madman under certain impressions falsely acquired in the material condition. For example, a thief who knows that stealing is not good and who knows that it is followed with punishment by a king or by God, who has seen that thieves are arrested and punished by the police, nonetheless steals again and again. He is obsessed with the idea that by stealing he will be happy. This is a sign of madness. Despite repeated punishment, the thief cannot give up his stealing habit Therefore, the punishment is useless. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this is the conversation continuing between Jada Bharat and King Rahugana. So a quick recap is that Bharat Maharaj, a great king of the entire planet at that time, so he was ruling and he gave up his royal opulence and went to the forest to meditate, even though he was in the prime of his youth. And as he was meditating on Krishna, he achieved a very high stage of devotion. At that time, he saw in the forest that a deer was being chased by a tiger, and in that encounter, the mother deer died, and she was actually pregnant. And while she was running, she delivered the baby, and she kept on running, and then killed by the tiger. So he took compassion upon the doe, the baby deer, and he took care of the deer, so much so that he was very much attached. He became very much attached to the deer, and eventually slackened in his spiritual practices, and he fell down so badly that the only thing he could think of in the entire day was the deer. And in that consciousness, he died in an accident. He fell into a ditch, and while thinking of the deer, he died, and he became a deer in his next life. But by Krishna's grace, he remembered his past life, although he was in the body of a deer, and he got away from his family, deer family, DEAR and DEER. He got away from his deer family and came back to the same ashram where he was meditating as Bharat Maharaj, and continued his meditation until it was time for him to die and leave the body. And he was subsisting only on dry leaves and constantly remembering Krishna, not to get entangled in family life again. Next life, he took birth in the family of a Brahmana, and he was the last of 9 children, and this time his name was again Bharat. And he was a self-realized soul, and this time he remembered the past two lives, the life of the king and the deer. And he was very much conscious not to make the mistake again of getting entangled in family life and such waste of time. So, what he did, although he was the most intelligent of the 9 children, he acted from the very beginning of his life like a retard. And his family, his father thought he was a retard. He tried to teach him so many things, cleanliness, and trying to teach him mantras and nothing. He just used to do the opposite thing. Well, you may ask why. This is all about Vedas anyway, science of Krishna consciousness. Because people, when they are educated, then eventually the next thing is to get a good wife for him, and then children, and then in this way the same thing will start. He did not want such entanglement, and therefore he decided to act his whole life like a retard. He was that determined, and not once was he caught until now. And he himself revealed at this time, and he was well into his adult life. And only now did he reveal himself to Rahugana. Now, this story is that he was just, as a retard, he was just lying down wherever he was, on the roadside or wherever. And the king palanquin, he was being carried in a palanquin, and one of them was 4 people, right? One of them got, I think, injured or what, something. I forgot how he went out of job. Then they found him. Oh, he looks like strong and stout. Come, you look like young, strong and stout. Come, lift the palanquin of the king. Then he was lifting and going, but he was very conscious that there were any ants on the path. He did not want to stamp on the ants and kill them. So he was stopping, and that was creating, disruption in the movement. So the king was very angry. First, he sarcastically chastised. Then he did not seem to get it. So he outright chastised him very, very heavily. At that time, so whatever he said, so point for point, he was giving a reply. Jada Bharat. He did not have to, he did not really want to for his personal consideration, but to help this king realize himself, he revealed himself to him. And this is the last part of such reply. Unmatta matta jadavatsa samstham gatasya me veera chikitsitena artha kiyan bhavata shikshitena stabdha pramattasya cha pishtapesha. So his reply to this statement of chastisement that, oh, you are a crazy dull fellow, so I will chastise you. So he replied to that now. So what is the use of your chastisement? First of all, earlier verses, if you see, he rebutted and presented the science between spirit and matter. What is Atma and what is the Sharir, or body? And to distinguish between the two constitutes knowledge, and he very clearly said that. So he said that what you are saying is a mistake because, yes, I mean, you are correct in the sense this body is alone, all that. In a different way, you are correct. Not in the way you intended, but philosophically, you are correct. But then now he is saying you're also wrong because, first of all, I am not what you think I am. And even if I was what you think I am, that I'm a dull, crazy fellow, you said you would chastise me, but what is the use of chastising a dull man? So even materially speaking, your statement is without logic. So he basically dismantled the entire argument of that king. And he used this word, pishtapesha. Now, if you see the translation, it is, punishment will be like beating a dead horse. But there is no reference of a horse in the Sanskrit. There is no word of horse. Here actually the word is pishtapesha, which is like grinding flour. So flour is already ground, it's powder. What is the use of grinding again flour? So, but in English, because that's a more well-known phrase, I think it's used like that. So there are two, I think two verses. One I remember, the other one I do not. Stating that there are two kind of people who are always happy in this world. Who are they? द्वावेव चिन्तया मुक्तौ परमानन्द आप्लुतौ यो विमुग्धो जडो बालो यो गुणेभ्यः परं गतः. In this world, two types of people are free from all anxiety and merged in great happiness. One who is a retarded and childish fool, and one who has approached the Supreme Lord, who is beyond the three modes of material nature. Everyone in between is full of anxiety. So, Jada Bharat, he is known as Jada Bharat because actually his name was Bharat, but Jada means retard, the retarded Bharat, the retarded Bharat, dull. So, whether you think of him as a Jada, dull, retard, or he is the transcendental person, he is always happy. So such persons who is either a dull person, there is no use of chastising him, and there is no use of chastising a completely self-realized soul as well, because he is beyond all chastisement. Chastisement is meant to correct the wrongdoings, but there is no wrongdoing of the self-realized soul. Yet, in this material world, people do chastise those who are self-realized. That's the way of this world. Because the self-realized souls, the saints, the sadhus, they go about this world to enlighten the muddled people, muddled population, or the confused population. Because the population, the people in general, they do not know the aim of life. They don't know what they're actually living for, or what they have to live for. They think everybody has an aim in life. Some people want to become a big scientist. Somebody wants to become a big football player or a cricket player or whatever. So everybody has an aim in life. Not everybody. Some people who are driven. Some people just don't. Their aim is to just have a meal every day and be happy like that. So that is also an aim in one sense. So everybody has some kind of aim. Otherwise, nobody would work. Even the guy who's not working, is just sitting and maybe playing games or watching TV. He also has an aim. His aim is to just be happy like that. That's why he's doing that. We cannot not do anything. You may say he's lazy, but he's busy. He thinks he's busy in his own way. So everybody is having so-called aim in life. Some lofty, some not. But either case, they have all created that aim after having been born into this world. Many people nowadays, especially motivational speakers and all these people, they always talk about what is your calling. What are you here in this world for? And they say that it is for you to find out this answer through self-exploration and blah blah. But actually, there is only one reason we are in this world. We are not sent here. Some people have this thing, especially from the Christian. I don't know how they think like this, but they think they are sent by God in this world to do something, to do a specific thing which they have to discover. Given their talents, given their opportunities, access, they have to decipher for themselves what they are sent into this world for. But as much as they may think like that, actually they are only sent for one single reason. Everybody in this world only for one reason, and that is to rectify ourselves from the mistake we have done. That's the only reason. A criminal, once he arrives in jail, he may think, if he's so much full of hubris, he may think, oh, I'm sent into this prison for a reason. I have to find out that reason. No, there's one reason. You have to come out. That's the only reason we are sent. So we rectify our mistake. The criminal rectifies his attitude and then changes. That's the only reason he's there. Now, he may think he is for this or that reason. That's his hallucination. Then, the question is, if we are sent for only one reason, why are we endowed with different talents, different opportunities, different access, different advantages or disadvantages? Karma. Because we all are sent here for one purpose. Until we fulfill that purpose, which is to become Krishna conscious again. We were Krishna conscious in the spiritual world. We left that. We wanted to experiment what it is like without Krishna consciousness. And we were sent here. And now that we are here, we have been experimenting for the past time immemorial. We don't even know how long. Anadi karma phale, podi bhavarnava jale. So we do not know how long we have been here. For that long we have tried. So every single lifetime, Krishna gives us a new body in order to fulfill our desires. And then especially when we are in the human form of life, when we encroach upon other people's or other souls' sense gratification or right to enjoy, then we are punished for that. And that is the law of karma. And vast majority of our life in this material world, we spend in animal lives, not human. Human is a very, very rare opportunity. We think, oh, there are 8 billion people, it's not. It's very tiny. Just imagine the number of ants in Singapore. It is orders of magnitude more than the population of the earth. I mean, human population. You see this? लब्ध्वा सुदुर्लभमिदं बहु संभवान्ते मानुष्यमर्थदमनित्यमपीह धीरः तूर्णं यतेतनपतेदनुमृत्युयावन् निःश्रेयसाय विषयः खलु सर्वतः स्यात्. लब्ध्वा सुदुर्लभम idam bahu sambhavante. This is very nice. After many births and deaths, and when we say many, not 60, 70, millions and billions, after that many births and deaths, one achieves the rare human form of life, which, although temporary, just like the other animals, affords one the opportunity to attain the highest perfection. Thus, a sober human being should quickly endeavor for the ultimate perfection of life, as long as his body, which is always subject to death, has not fallen down and died. After all, sense gratification is available even in the most abominable species of life, whereas Krishna consciousness is possible only for a human being. And when we have a limited offer, it's sensible to grab the offer and make the most of it. But we don't want. We are given this limited offer in this human life. And we throw the opportunity away in a very, very, in the worst possible way. Why? For example, if you have gold you found in the garbage, if I don't take the gold and use it for the right purposes, I missed out. That is a wrong thing. Of course, if it is, if in the garbage means nobody lays claim to that. It's already in garbage. I found something gold. the best way is to actually give it to in the service of Krishna, because it belongs to Krishna anyway. I did not create it, nobody created it. So that is the best possible use. Now, if I don't touch it, I say, oh, that's not mine. I'll be an honest person. I will not touch it. Then I am only semi-good. I am not good enough. Because one, it could have been used in Krishna's service, but I'm not using it, which belongs to him, not using it. And I'm so-called exhibiting morality by being honest, or by renouncing the tendency to take it. But first of all, it was never mine. What am I renouncing? I can only renounce something which I possessed, but there's nothing I possess in this world. So the renunciation is a farce. It's only an ego that I renounce something. But other than that, there's no reality to that, because nothing is ours in the first place to renounce. And if I take it for my own sense gratification, that's the worst possible use of that gold. Then that will be sinful. I will have to pay for it later on. So now what we do with our, same thing we do with our human life. Our human life is gold. Not because his body is something special. No, it rots after it's dead. Once the soul leaves the body, it just rots like any other animal. But we can do something here in this life which cannot be done in animal life, which is to understand Krishna consciousness. And for that we have been gifted by special intelligence, with which we can inquire questions like, who am I? Animals also inquire, where is food? Where is sex? Where is shelter? Where is the enemy? Where is my defense? How to defend myself? So this is the ahara nidra bhayamaithunam cha samanyam etad pasubhir naranam. Dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesho dharmena hina pasubhir samana. So if I engage myself only in these four things of the animals, ahara, nidra, bhaya and maithuna, it means eating, sleeping, sex and defense, then what is the difference between me and the animals? So they have also inquisitive power, but they can only inquire about these things, whereas we can inquire, who am I actually? So before I come up with this idea that, oh, I was sent into this world for this purpose, this is my calling. No, first of all, that is what you made up in your head. But before you were sent, what was your position? Like for example, a person enters into prison. What happened before that? He committed a crime and he was judged and then he sent. So I should know my background, and then I will know why I'm here. So who am I actually? Why do I die? I don't want to. Why do I grow old? I don't want to. Why do I get disease? I don't want to. I want to be always happy, but I'm most of the time not happy. And even the thing that I call it as happiness, it's actually only a temporary relief from suffering. It's not actually happiness. So what am I here for? Who am I actually? Because I say this is my body, this is my head, this is my heart, this is my legs and hands. So if all these things are mine, who am I? So these questions we can ask as human beings, and that inquiry will begin one's journey in spiritual life. So once we understand we are Atma and not the body, all the relations for which we are working right now, our family, our home, our relatives, our bank balance, our kshetra means work, our occupation, everything now is comes into question. Like, I am doing all these things because I think I am so and so, and this is my domain, this is my family and circle or whatever. But this is my nationality or community. But if that is all dismantled with this idea that I am Atma now, I am not this body, so what am I, or who am I related to? What is actually mine now? What is not mine? So these are the inquiries, that follow-up inquiries that come after the initial inquiry of who am I. So the answers, it's not just a question, I don't know, some of my family members would watch this. My father, he used to say that, uh, he would start with something, we would discuss about something, then he will suddenly become philosophical. So he would start with, you should study so that you can get you'll be comfortable in your future. He will say something like that. I'm just giving an example. Well, you should study so that you get a good job. To do what? Maybe a family or something. And then to do what? Well, that is a $1 million question, and which remains. He used to always say this. Always he will get to the point where, and to do what is the $1 million question, and which remains. It does not remain. It does not. It does not have to remain a question. I will only, you have decided it will remain a question. That means you're not prepared for an answer. You only want to sound philosophical, but you are not philosophical if you say that. So, because if I'm really questioning the curiosity, if I really want to satisfy my curiosity, I want the answer. But if I don't want the answer and I decided this is going to be the question and nobody can answer this and there can never be an answer, then I'm not really serious for an answer. So we have to actually be serious for an answer, because it's not just because I'm philosophical, therefore I want to. No, it's emergency. It's an emergency, because if we don't have the answer, we're going to rot for another billions of years. Imagine I've said this many times, all the different species that we see, some as cockroach, some as ants, some as lizards, some as snakes and whatever. 8 million species under humans, below humans. Why are they there? Who are there in their bodies? They are souls. And who are those souls? Why are they suffering as animals? They have not done any wrong thing. Animal cannot do anything wrong because they only live on instinct. They don't have the capacity to judge right and wrong. So they don't have such power. So then why are they punished? You see the wildlife videos, how the lion is killing some animal, and the animal is suffering. But not every other zebra or a deer gets the same treatment. Many escape, one gets caught. Why? Why the difference? Why is somebody suffering more than other? If he has not done anything wrong, why is he suffering? That means he has done wrong when he had the discriminatory power of judging between right and wrong, and that is only possible in a human life. That means for every human life that we exist, we are committing so many sinful activities, so many material activities that will entangle us for the next millions and billions of years. Take for example, I've said this again many times. A person eats maybe a chicken for breakfast, a mutton for lunch, and some other thing for dinner, meat suppose. Now the breakfast only takes 20 minutes. 20 minutes, he's done. Okay, suppose he lives for 80 years. 80 years. Now 20 minutes he has eaten a breakfast of some bird, some chicken or something, turkey or whatever. Now he has to spend an entire lifetime in a horrible circumstances in a slaughterhouse and be slaughtered in the same way, and then all that pain, that one whole lifetime after this human life will be spent just to pay for that breakfast. Imagine how many things we are doing in one lifetime. Not only, even when we are walking, we are killing. Even for that, we have to pay. One is only excused if one is Krishna conscious. Krishna will excuse the accidental killings or the unavoidable killings, which are, for example, potato. You are killing the plant. If I do not offer to Krishna, I have to pay for the life. How dare I? I did not create that life. Who am I to interrupt with that life? I can't without paying for it. So that's why Krishna says in the third chapter, 13th verse, Yajnasishtasana santo muchante sarva kil vishay bhunjate te tvagham papa ye pachante atma karanat. If I eat anything other than food offered to Krishna first, I am committing sin, whether vegetarian or non-vegetarian. And I have to pay for it. So I have to become a potato. I have to become a potato for that. And then somebody will harvest and eat. So all these life forms that you see, they are all payback. They are payback for whatever they have done. So, and what they have done when they did it, when they had a human life. So one lifetime of his human life will create just how many lifetimes of suffering? Millions, millions and billions. And imagine 1 year in one life. But actually it's much more than that, right? If you're a tree, you're standing there for thousands of years sometimes. If you're a redwood tree in the forest of, what is that, California or somewhere? There are these redwood forests. You go there, I think 20 people together with hand held cannot hug the entire tree. 30 people maybe even can't. It's that huge and massive, hundreds of feet into the sky. And they're standing for thousands and thousands of years. I think what they found, what is it, 7,000-year-old tree, the oldest tree found. 7,000 years. Krishna, way before Krishna came into this world and did all the Kurukshetra battle, way before that, started 2,000 years before that. From Dwapar Yuga, that means. Continuing and Kali Yuga going on. Just imagine. So, if that many years, of course, some are lesser, some are more, but take an average, you are standing for, you are in this, before you get another human life, it's millions of years. Now you may think, we may think that, what is the value of an animal life? Now, here the point was, Jadabharat is saying, what is the use of punishing a person who's already mad? What will he understand? He can't be rectified anyway. Now, if we see the animal life, they are mad because they actually do not know. They are like retards. They may be very intelligent in what they do, like a lion or snake. They're very clever in their hunting strategies and what we're not denying that. But because they do not know the real nature as Atma, they're actually mad. They're in a state of madness. So, what is the use of punishing them? What do they learn from that punishment? They don't learn anything. I had this question for many years, even after coming to Krishna consciousness. Why are a criminal goes into the prison and, I'm there, I know what crime I committed, and then I'm here, I have to rectify myself. He knows why is there. We do not know. Animals know no chance of knowing. So what is the point? How would you answer that question? Okay, so why not give them just human birth? Why they have to undergo the animal birth which has no meaning?
They need to suffer, they need to get back what they did.
Yes, that can be done in human life as well. Suppose I murder someone, I can be a human being and I can get murdered. That can happen in a human life. Yeah, okay. So I can, first of all, the cow is there, first of all, because the soul went into the body of a cow. Even if I've killed the cow, I can still be a human and get murdered so that I understand I killed the cow or whatever. But why should I become an animal, go into an animal birth? Different layers of lust. Which one? Oh, 38? 39 or something. 38 or 39. Okay. Yatha darsho malena cha. Dhumena vriyate vahner yatha darsho malena cha. Yathol venavrato garbhas tatha tenedamavratam. As fire is covered by smoke, as a mirror is covered by dust, or as the embryo is covered by the womb, the living entity is similarly covered by different degrees of this lust. Now, even in this, right, you can read the purport actually. See, there are the 3 degrees of covering of the living entity by which his pure consciousness is obscured. This covering is but lust under different manifestations, like smoke in the fire, dust on the mirror, and womb about the embryo. When lust is compared to smoke, it is understood that the fire is of the living spark can be a little perceived. In other words, when the living entity exhibits his Krishna consciousness slightly, he may be likened to the fire covered by smoke. Although fire is necessary where there is smoke, there is no overt manifestation of fire in the early stage. This stage is like the beginning of Krishna consciousness. The dust on the mirror reflects to a cleansing process of the mirror of the mind by so many spiritual methods. The best process is to chant the holy names of the Lord. The embryo covered by the womb is an analogy illustrating a helpless position, for the child in the womb is so helpless that he cannot even move. This stage of living condition can be compared to that of the trees. The trees are also living entities, but they have been put in such a condition of life by such a great exhibition of lust that they are almost void of all consciousness. The covered mirror is compared to the birds and beasts, and the smoke-covered fire is compared to the human being. In the form of a human being, the living entity may revive a little Krishna consciousness, and if he makes further development, the fire of spiritual life can be kindled in the human form of life. By careful handling of the smoke in the fire can be made to blaze. Therefore, the human form of life is a chance for the living entity to escape the entanglement of material existence. In the human form of life, one can conquer the enemy, lust, by cultivation of Krishna consciousness under able guidance. Now, this makes sense, but I am just asking from the viewpoint of Krishna. Now, this is how it is structured by Krishna. But I am actually going a little bit before that. Why did even Krishna created something like this, where there are lifetimes where we have no idea why we are there, and that is the majority of the time. The whole point of sending us to this material world is to correct us. I mean, give us a chance to play out our lusty affairs, but at the same time, give us a chance. And if he's very anxious, moreover, to bring us back, to see us back in the Vaikuntha, why then it's only very rarely achieved, this human form of life, and most of the time, the vast majority of the time, is an animal life? Why would even Krishna even design it in such a way?
Somebody want to have many wives, then okay, better become.
That is now logical to us because a pig does that. Krishna created the pig to have many female companions, something like that. The question is, why did even Krishna create so many animal forms when a person needs to actually understand why he is here and then quickly correct his mistake and come back? Why should he even design the pig or anything? Yes, that is the hint of an answer. So, not just because, okay, Krishna created. So, you see, 80 years of life, we have committed so many sinful activities, or even pious activities for that matter, to go to the heavenly planet. So, every action, every word, and every thought here in this life is judged because we have the discriminatory power, and so we are judged for that. But we have created so much stock of sinful activity. We have sown too many seeds of reaction, karmic reaction. Now, if we are given a next life, again human being, and again human being, again human, we will commit unlimited number of things. We will never have a chance. We are just going deeper and deeper, and because we are all the time misusing our intellect, misusing our higher birth, and doing the same thing. So it is actually kind of Krishna to create life forms where the only purpose of those life forms is to purge whatever past sinful activities are done without accruing more reactions, so that he can actually be free of all those things in due course of time and come back again to human life, where he gets a chance, where he has You see, now even humans are there, many humans, who are just like animals. Kali Yuga, they're just like animals. They have zero understanding or zero interest in even in this. They just live like animals. So just imagine if more and more people are just like that. There's nothing else. Of course, there are multiple reasons. He wants to show off his creativity, not show off, I mean, display his creativity, and he uses many things. But the main thing you have to understand, this material world is created to rectify us. So these life forms, we don't accrue more sinful activity anymore. We cannot add to our chain of karma. We can only purge whatever we have already done. And Jada Bharat was also thinking like that. Actually, future, I think 1 or 2 verses further, he will say something like this. That, in the purport, it said that, even when he was asked to carry the palanquin, he just agreed because if, this maybe something I have done so in the past, so now I have to carry the load. Okay, let me just do it so that my past rina, the debt of, whatever I am supposed to do, let me just finish it. So he just took it that way. So this is why tolerance is important. Because if we try to, if there is an uncomfortable situation and we try to solve it by tweaking something to make it comfortable, we are actually, first of all, wasting time, because that time spent in tweaking and trying to find a solution is gone forever, never to return. And while contemplating the solution, we are not thinking of Krishna, and we're getting more entangled in this world. So it is a double trouble, actually. It's not only waste, but it is detrimental. It is negative consequence. Like if I have to go to some place which is 3 hours away drive, and I have spent the first hour going in the opposite direction. Now, not only is that time waste, it is double waste, because I have to come back again to the starting and again then go. So it is, if I just stayed at the starting point for 1 hour and did nothing, that would have been better than going in the opposite direction. So it is double trouble. So when we do something, because we cannot stop doing anything, we can't be just like at point A and do nothing, because as soul, as spirit soul, we are always active. If we are not active in the right way, we are always acting in the wrong way, and that will create double trouble. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtatya karma krit karyate hyavashah karma sarvah prakriti jair gunaih. Everyone is forced to act helplessly according to the qualities he has acquired from the modes of material nature. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. So this is our position. So if this is our position, then we better know what is the right path, so that our life can be the most productive. So nowadays people call it progress when they just get out a new iPhone into the market. Oh, that is progress. Or the next, now they have, what is it called? Apple Vision Pro, progress. Or self-driving cars, progress. All these things I think is progress. But actually, it is moving very quickly in the opposite direction. Not only moving in the opposite direction, with a greater speed. Because they're losing, their lifetime is lost and spent in unnecessary things. And cheto darpana marjanam, right? So cheta is like darpan, like a mirror. And it is not just an ordinary mirror, memory mirror. If you put something in front of the mirror, it will just reflect. If you take it out, it will not reflect that anymore. It will reflect whatever is in front of the mirror. But our mind, you take the thing out, it will still mirror that. I watch a movie, horror movie, and I come out, I'm still scared. It's not that I'm coming out, I'm still scared. I'm looking here and there in the night, and that'll go on for a few weeks, maybe, depending on degree of paranoia. So it's like a memory mirror. So everything that we think about, it's many orders of magnitude trouble. So we have to be very careful what we do with our life. Uh, so what is the right thing to do? Krishna consciousness. So sahanistan mahachidram samoha sacha vibhramaha yanmuhurtam kshanam vapi vasudevam nachintayet. If even for a moment remembrance of Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is missed, that is the greatest loss, that is the greatest illusion, and that is the greatest anomaly. This is actually the biggest problem in the world. Biggest problem is this. The root of all problems is this. Forgetfulness of Krishna. And even for a moment, it is a big loss. So we should mold our life in such a way that all the waking hours at least, if we can remember Krishna, there is very good chance that even in dreams we can remember Krishna. And in that way, 24 hours we can always remember Krishna. A pure devotee actually never sleeps. He never sleeps. His so-called sleeping is meditation on Krishna. So he does not sleep like us. So this is the apex, the perfect stage of life, perfection of life. So we have to come to that point, and that is what Jadabharat is going to teach Rahugana. As you will see, Rahugana appreciated immediately when Jadabharat revealed his real position. Rahugana immediately appreciated, because he was of a philosophical bent of mind. So he was inclined towards these things, but he never expected that such a person would instruct me. But when he found out his real glories, he immediately fell down at his feet and took him as his spiritual master. So every action should have meaning. Pishta Pesha does not have meaning. If we do Pishta Pesha, there is no meaning. If we are grinding the flour, there is no meaning to that. It's a useless waste of time. Right? Or, there are a couple of other verses which also highlight this waste of time. Okay, next, let's actually go to this one first. This is a famous verse which Prabhupada always quoted. Dharma svanusthitah pumsam vishvaksena katha suyah notpadayedhyadiratim shrama eva hi kevalam. Shrama eva hi kevalam. That means, shrama means effort. Your result is only the effort. There's nothing more than the effort. There's no other profit. Shrama eva hi kevalam. There's nothing. It's useless labor. The occupational activities a man performs according to his own position are only so much useless labor if they do not provoke attraction for the message of the personality of Godhead. So if I am doing my duty very nicely and so-called in this material world, but if such following my duty does not get me to the point of actually situated in the devotional service of Krishna, useless labor. And this is given a little more detail in this verse. नेह यत्कर्म धर्माय न विरागाय कल्पते न तीर्थपद सेवाय जीवन्नपि मृतो हि सः. Anyone whose work is not meant to elevate him to religious life. That means a work must elevate one to religious life. How a work can elevate one to religious life? Result of the work we must give to Krishna. Suppose, what is the result of my work? Salary at the end of the month. I must give. The actual standard is 50% of my salary I should give to Krishna consciousness. Then, so that is one way. Another way is my work, means what am I doing for my work? Those talents or those skills can be used in Krishna's service also. Right? So anyone whose work is not meant to elevate, and this is in present day context, whereas in Vedic times, where People who are more Krishna conscious. The entire work of the state was to make people Krishna conscious. Rajarshi. They used to be Raja and Rishi at the same time. They used to be kings and saints at the same time. Yesterday I saw a quote from some Western philosopher. He said, if you separate the scholars from the warriors, you will have your thinking done by cowards and fighting done by fools. If you separate the scholars and the warriors, the scholars are not warriors, they're cowards, and the thinking will be done by them, and the fighting will be done by the warriors who are not scholars, who are fools. So he said, if you separate the scholars and the warriors, you will have your thinking done by cowards and fighting done by fools. And this can be completely undone by having Rajarshis. They are Raja and Rishi at the same time. They were not exactly scholar, yes, but religiously. Not just philosophical scholar and not religious. Religious. So they used to be guided by the Brahmanas, Rajarshis. So they are in fact in the parampara system. Evam parampara praptam imam Rajarshayo viduhu. So that he can guide the entire population. Like Prithu Maharaj, Yudhishthir Maharaj, Vivaswan, all these kings have guided the population in Krishna consciousness. So the whole goal of civilization is to become Krishna conscious and make our life perfect. So those who are doing Brahmana work, their education, what they do, Brahmanas, they educate people, they do sacrifices for their own purification and for the purification of others. And they also do this. Sometimes some of them also do astrology and Vastu and medicine, Ayurveda. These things are all in the domain of, Brahmanas. They know at least something. Some of them more, some of them less. It's a little bit like that. So, and rituals and the knowledge. Of course, there are many departments. All these are departments. So, even among Brahmanas, there are multiple divisions. And most of them knew, at least if like jack of all trades, of all these kind of knowledge. They used to pass down this knowledge and used to help. And that knowledge will lead the people to Krishna consciousness. See, the education system of Gurukul system, it will lead people into Krishna consciousness while being, very great scientists, mathematicians, and everything. Not that there was. You look at the architecture of all the temples in India, for example. You think ordinary engineers of today can do it? They cannot. They cannot do it. They are puzzled even how was this even built? So many temples are like that. They are puzzled with no cranes, with no modern machinery, and much more exotic and much more rich in the design than the modern, and much more meaningful in the design as well. Everything has meaning. Why it is like that? Today, just I like a fancy shape, so make a building which is like this. If you see China and Dubai, all this simply something, something they will do, just to look fancy only. It's not real purpose, and they won't last. Look at these buildings which were built thousands of years ago. They will last for thousands of years. These will just crumble, maximum say 200-300 years, if fortunate. So they are very much, in knowledge of every necessary material knowledge and most importantly spiritual knowledge. So education department used to cultivate this. Today's education, atheistic. Atheism. Where is the mention of God? What are you teaching in the schools? They have to teach knowledge, but they're teaching the opposite of knowledge. They are teaching some skill sets, how to have a livelihood in life, that's all. A little bit general awareness, that's it. Beyond that, nowadays there is propaganda coming into it, heavy propaganda of atheism. But this propaganda has already been there, always been there. atheism. Where is the mention of God? And if you do go with any religious symbols, and you will actually be asked not to, if possible, unless there is some protest by the community. You know, and some people actually protest. For example, in India, that thing happened, the hijab row happened, and they wanted their hijab. They want to show that they're Muslims. Hindus are the worst of the lot, in the sense they don't stand for their religion at all. The slightest opportunity to compromise, they will do so. Put tilak and go? No. What if somebody says something? Nobody said anything yet, but they already, what if somebody says something? Whereas they, oh, somebody says something. Really? Okay, we'll protest. We'll bring all the, we'll put band, strike and everything. We'll do. How dare you say? You accept what we are, how we are. If they can have that kind of, how much determination they have to follow what they want, why we don't have? We don't have. First ones to compromise. Oh, my boss said cannot. I'll have. That's it. Nothing need be said anymore. So, but if we stand for our, that's just one small thing. We have to actually preach. Now, preaching is is illegal in some places, but you know what happened? This was 2 years ago during COVID time. I went to a hospital for something. I don't even remember what I went for. So I just went there. I think it was something. I went to the government hospital. They gave an appointment, they do months later. And so Prabhu asked me to go to the raffles. I went, but I did not end up doing anything there. But I just went to inquire. So I had something. So I just asked. I have this thing. I don't even remember what. So anyway, I asked the receptionist, and she guided me there and all that. Then I was coming out. The receptionist. So how I have gotten some appointment? I said, yeah, I'll consider. I spoke to the people. Anyway, Jesus is there always to help you. You can come for a prayer. She gave them card, church. Now she's not supposed to do that. Okay? I could have easily reported and everything, but I did not, because I appreciated what she was doing. Spiritually speaking, whatever it is, maybe she's doing it, maybe there's a commission there if you convert one person. I don't know what the calculus is, but I appreciated at least that God is the answer ultimately. And she's trying to invite person to a prayer. Okay, fine. I have my prayers already, but so even though in a setting where you're not supposed to so-called do it, still she risked her job to do that. That's why I appreciate it. Okay, she's standing for God. You know what? I actually respect that. So I I did not complain. But we last persons. I can understand that men can't wear dhoti, they will be sacked. But women can wear anything. They can wear pants, they can wear anything. So actually, they can wear saris also. Try it out. Nobody will say anything. People will eventually appreciate. And then maybe somebody can become devotee. Who knows? Of course, ideally, not even to work. The woman should not work. But in either case, we have to always be, even our devotees, I see. They come in temple, everything, even those who staying in temple, dhoti, go to Mustafa, pants. Why? No, I'm going shopping. So what? They ask you to wear pants, otherwise they won't allow that. Why? Wear dhoti and go. Why? What is the problem? Why are we so shy? You know, in order to escape any kind of interrogation, we go to China with pants. Only country. Even Prabhu goes with pants because immigration, they will pull aside. Especially they see dark skin, they'll pull aside. Who are you? Why are your skin like this? Come. They will come as what? Answer yourself. Explain yourself. So, in order to not be so conspicuous, we wear pants. That's the only country. Even Russia, we don't. Now, when we were on the China flight, we saw Muslims wearing burqa, full burqa, not just hijab, burqa, top to bottom. Nobody said anything. We're thinking maybe we should try. But the only reason is because if anything happens, it has to be one bad officer in a bad mood. Maybe his wife scolded him. That's it. He will, and in communist country, cameras everywhere, surveillance state. So you know what? I really want to do it still, but Prabhu says no. We need to preach. That is a more important thing. Once we go in there, we change. Yeah, we just at one place. We just go with the. So that's that. So anyway, we have to be very. So anyone whose work is not meant to elevate him to religious life, okay, that is the promotion. We always want promotion in work. Hey, promote to religious next level. Where is that promotion? Anyone whose work is not meant to elevate him, that is the promotion, elevation to religious life. So if he does not do that, he is stagnated. Okay, and somebody who is in religious life, following some rituals, following some sadhana, whatever. Anyone whose religious, ritualistic performances do not raise him to renunciation. I'm doing chanting, I'm doing even in Krishna consciousness. Okay, I am chanting Prabhu, I'm going here and there, but renunciation is not coming in the head. After 20 years, still same, nothing changed in the one's thinking. We should progressively become more, understand that we should not be too attached to this world. It's actually a waste of time, fully waste. So that realization should slowly dawn upon us if we are really following something. Right? If it does not, it's not entirely waste, but what are you doing? Why? So anyone who's religious, some people I have seen from when I joined until now, almost 20 years, they are in the same platform. In fact, if anything, they went down. They used to come more often, now less. So whose religious, ritualistic performances do not raise him to renunciation. And if we are at renunciation, anyone situated in renunciation that does not lead him to devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead must be considered dead, although he is breathing. For example, of course, Mayavad they renounce and they don't have bhakti yet. So they are also stagnated. But even devotees, in the neophyte stage, in the beginning, we when you surrender, it's always going to be some kind of disagreement with the family. The family is not going to say, please go and join. No, they will never say that. At least in our religion, no. Maybe if you become an imam in Muslim, maybe they'll respect you. And if you become a pastor in Christianity, the family will actually maybe respect you. But if you become anything in Hindu religion, no. The last thing, I will take all blessing from sadhu, but you rascal, you don't become sadhu. That is the Indian Hindu family. Now, in that, if at all, we have to understand, our surrender will always look a little bit ugly, more or less, until the people become recalibrated to the new normal. It will be a little bit of agitation, bound to happen. But that doesn't mean we should shy away from it. We should embrace it. In fact, the highest occupation, if a father's son becomes a CEO like Sundar Pichai, CEO of Google, right? Proudly he will say, my son is Sundar Pichai. He is, CEO of Google, big man. One of the best jobs in the world. But actually the best job is to become the servant of Krishna, which is Google is, yeah, maybe the biggest website in the world, and YouTube is the second biggest, and other technologies, big, huge, massive. Krishna is the owner of all the universes put together, material and spiritual, and I am working under him. Why is that a low class job? Why is that treated as a low class job? We have to change our mindset. We have to change this mindset. We have to have the highest adoration for this job. This is the highest job. Every job is useless if it does not lead to this. We may say that, oh, if there is no technology, where you will do live stream, Prabhu? Where? So I was thinking about this matter a few weeks ago. Of course, we have the answer, that is Yukta Vairagya. It's actually they are benefiting from us. So the thing is, who is helping who here? Yes, there is a degree of interdependency. We all depend on each other, right? But who is actually helping who? If this live stream and all this internet is not there, instead of maybe 50 people here, there will be 5,000 people here. People used to hear, Ram Katha, Krishna Katha, Mahabharata, Ramayana. They used to hear this because they did not have other engagements. Now we have internet. Even if you see online, let's see how many. Oh, 28 people. I'm actually surprised. That is a record for a morning class. That's not even. So here, say about 20, and there 28, maximum 50 people sitting and listening. We can do more if there was no internet. But since there is internet, since you've already created a behemoth of a Maya instrument, I will use your thing and reach out to people. They may say, no, you see, you are sitting here, somebody else is listening thousands of kilometers away. Is that not good? Well, if this was not there, there will be thousands of preachers everywhere, and they will be sitting and listening there also. It's not that they could not have listened. If there was enough apparatus, this preaching can go on everywhere. What is actually happening when somebody helps or something is useful for the devotees, we should see which is serving a higher purpose. Whether the technology is serving a higher purpose or the devotee who is serving the higher purpose. The devotee is serving the higher purpose. So the other who assists him, that person will get benefit by being used by a devotee. Just like a flower. Leave the technology aside. Flower. We take a flower and give it to Krishna. Who benefited? We also benefited by offering the flower to Krishna. Flower also benefited. So both benefit. Right? But the devotee can do without that flower. He can maybe, in his mind, he can offer, or he could have taken any other flower. But because the devotee chose that flower, that tree is now fortunate. So, who is serving a higher purpose? The one who is producing a flower, or the one who is offering it to Krishna? The one who is offering it to Krishna. So, the person who is producing it is a secondary. So, he is getting benefit because of the devotee. So, the devotees are the purifying factor in anything, whether it's technology, whether it's anything. Is the devotees who are actually using it for Krishna's service and making, like printing press. Printing press, 1440, it was invented. You know to what? To print Bible. Christians are way ahead in using technology. Since 500 years. Even now, I have seen the other day, Nimanita Prabhu showed me a video. Using AI, generating graphics, images, with consistent character faces. Okay, so the narration of the story, Bible story, and with all this AI narration in the background and all this AI depicting the thing. Beautiful. It's good for children and also even adults. It's not exactly an full animated movie, but even that is good. I think next thing they will go into movies as well with all the animation and Unreal Engine 5 and everything, all these technologies. So they are very quick at adopting technology. Why? We should also be like that. So whoever is serving Krishna, that person will engage everybody else. directly or indirectly in the service of Krishna. The vegetables that are offered, the fruits that are offered, the technology that is being offered, who created the technology, they all benefit if they are used for Krishna's service. Otherwise, they think they are doing it for benefit of the world. And devotees are one of the few people who are taking advantage of that benefit that we are offering. They think like this. But actually, no, what they are doing is coming up with so much distraction for the world. Now, I come up with a blazing fast smartphone with graphics and all these things. What do people do? Play games with that and communicate, go to Tinder. I mean, what are you doing? I mean, instead of learning how to cook, grab order food. So it's creating more of distraction than from a simple life than is needed. More and more distraction, and because the phone is always there, one is just scrolling, doom scrolling this, scrolling for eternity is going on. It will never stop. It'll make sure it will never stop. That's the algorithm. So it's really andhakupa. It's literally andhakupa. You go down and down and down and down and down, and nothing is never ending. So that's how it is. Grabbing your attention, which is so necessary to put in at Krishna's lotus feet, but is being robbed away from us. These are all devices to rob our attention away from Krishna. It's Maya's perfect plan. So they think they're offering a big, how to say, a benefit to the world by this technology and other such measures. But actually, nobody is doing anything good for the world except for the devotees. We have to be thoroughly convinced of this. Only devotees can do good for the world. And we will prove it. We will philosophically, logically prove it that only devotees can. Just like I explained now. Only devotees can do good for the world. So everybody must cooperate with the devotees. That used to be the culture. Now it is all forgotten. Now they see that, these are disturbances to society. Religion is a disturbance. There are so many fights and wars because of religion only. This is how they think. And they want to abolish religion as much as possible so that they can control. Now, because religion is there, people may not completely trust the government if they do something. They want no other authority, because then the government can be the authority. That's what they really want. But with religion, what happens? You have another authority figure, a guru, God, something, scripture. You are in my country, but you have your own thing, and you have strong opinions. So like that. But they don't want that. So what they do? If they say no religion, then people will revolt. So therefore, they don't say no religion, but they put forward an education system where it's a generational investment, multi-generational investment, where slowly over time, the culture, the religion, everything will erode, so that eventually we will have the control. And that's what they really want. And that's how they say secular. Actually, no. They want to completely control your life. So we should be aware of how Maya is working. Not just be naive. Krishna devotees are not naive, We cannot be naive to how the Maya's workings are happening. So if we read Krishna's Bhagavad Gita Bhagavatam, we will know how Maya is working, and we observe the world. We observe and see how Krishna's Maya is tightly wrapping herself around the conditioned souls. And then we know how to come out. We should not lose our focus on Krishna. That is the secret. Her business is to make you lose focus on Krishna in multiple, myriad ways. All right, I'll stop here. Any questions or comments? Somebody quoted 5:14:10. 5:14:10. The conditioned soul sometimes personally appreciates the futility of sense enjoyment in the material world and he sometimes considers material enjoyment to be full of miseries. However, due to his strong bodily conception, his memory is destroyed, and again he runs after material enjoyment just as an animal runs after a mirage in the desert. Yeah. Huh? Yeah.
Yesterday we made a slipper for him.
Slipper out of his own skin for the mother. Mother wore it? Where? So, for those online audience, somebody in India happened to some. Is it a guy or a lady? Some highly devoted mother's boy. He made a slipper out of his own skin for the mother to wear, and mother wore it. Okay. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Yeah. Hmm. 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 The whole point for them is to not to understand. If they understand means they have a brain of a human being, and that means you have the discrimination of what is right and what is wrong, and then again you will be judged for all your actions. Once we have the facility, then you will have to be judged, right? So don't have the facility, just live out. The only thing that they but still there are opportunities even for those animals if the devotees somehow or other use them in Krishna's service. If you are a silkworm and that silk somehow comes to Krishna, delivered. I mean, so milk of the cow, and then there used to be. That's why having. However, we may think that machines are more efficient than animals, but actually it's better to use animals, like for in the fields, for transport. Ideally, of course, now we are using all kind of things. It's a modern thing. But when we use horses, elephants, donkeys, even sometimes, um, or bulls for transportation and work, that will engage those animals in helping the human civilization. And if the human civilization is oriented to Krishna consciousness, they indirectly benefit. So if the bull is made to make oil, or if the grains are offered to Krishna, and the milk is offered to Krishna, or the horses are there to carry the devotees to the temple instead of a rickshaw, a horse cart or something, or an elephant sometimes even. And even in Yuddha, even like Mahabharata, the Kurukshetra war, all the animals that were used, they also benefit because they are also participants in the Dharma Yuddha. And they will get, although they are killed and all, but because it's a Dharma Yuddha, they get benefit. So so many ways like that, they can be engaged in Krishna consciousness. So that is chance. There is some chance, and that also for those fortunate souls it will get. Maybe they did something in their past human life or something, and a whole lot of sinful activity. They were fell somewhere, and then their flower somewhere grown somewhere. The guy harvests, transports in a big container to multiple countries, and then one comes here and one finally comes to the lotus feet of Krishna. How many hands it has changed and finally arrived here. Krishna is directing all the wanderings of those living entities. So that is also there, not just, Even pigeons used to be used for messaging or whatever. So many things. I mean, so any other questions or comments? All right, we'll stop here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.